Hello everyone, today I'll be reviewing Nashville. So Nashville came out in 1975 and was directed by Robert Altman, and this film is focusing on the country and gospel music scene in Nashville in the summer over a 5-day period. And this film actually features a wide variety of characters. There's roughly 24 or 25 different main characters in this film that the movie focuses on, and as such it's not a film that has a traditional plot. It really just follows these different characters, and somehow amazingly all these different characters and groups of people intersect and intertwine with each other, and we get to learn more about these characters as the story progresses. Now, while all this is happening, there is this new political party known as the Replacement Party, and it's a new populist party led by this guy named Hal Philip Walker, who we never actually see. But this guy is, well, he's wanting to run for president, and essentially we get his agent walking around trying to get somebody to sing at his political rally. So we meet all these different country singers and some gospel singers throughout the film. So some of the more memorable characters in this film, we have these 3 band members, Bill, Mary and Tom, and they're a trio, and they sing a few times throughout this film, but really Bill and Mary are married to each other, but Mary is also having an affair with Tom, and the character Tom, played by Keith Carradine, is a bit of a womanizer, and we see him actually with a few different women throughout the course of this film. We also have this female country singer called Barbara Jean, and she is really one of the most famous country singers around, though she's a little bit mentally unstable and can cause some problems throughout this film. Then we also have a married couple who are played by Ned Beatty and Lily Tomlin, and their relationship isn't exactly brilliant, but Lily Tomlin's character actually ends up being in contact with Tom, who was in that group that I mentioned earlier. So the plot of this film is actually quite difficult to explain, really. There's so many different groups of characters. I thought I'd just give an example of some of the things that go on, but really what this film is often about is the music as well. And this is quite a long film. It's actually 2 hours and 40 minutes long, and roughly an hour of this film is just made up of musical numbers. So we'll have the characters singing, and it's mostly country music, I suppose. We get these characters that are supposed to be these big country stars in Nashville, and a lot of the time the characters in this film can bear some resemblance to real life country stars such as Tammy Wynette and Loretta Lynn and Conway Twitty and people like that who were really popular at the time that this film came out. Really what this film is about is the interactions between these different characters, because we get this really big scene at the end which I won't spoil, but in a way you can see the events in this film start to spiral out of control slightly and build up to this big event at the end of the film. So this was the first time that I'd seen this film. I didn't really know what to expect, and I did get quite a bit of enjoyment out of it, particularly with the songs. So there's quite a lot of the songs in this film are quite catchy. I found myself tapping my foot to quite a few of them, and they're mostly fairly easy listening songs in this film, though we do get a few sadder songs, particularly with some of the characters that are playing a guitar or something like that. But occasionally you do get some quite uplifting songs in this film, though at the same time I did find myself getting a bit bored with a few of the musical numbers, particularly ones which were a little bit less exciting in my opinion. So I guess it's a matter of personal taste. I mean, the style of music in this film is certainly not going to appeal to everyone. The story itself might require quite a bit of attention, because this film doesn't really want us to focus on any particular aspect of the story. And a lot of the time when some characters are interacting with each other, there'll be some overlapping dialogue, or there might be something that somebody says in the background, and it is actually quite a little bit difficult to understand exactly what's going on. But I find myself able to understand each of the characters pretty well, and I found what I did find interesting about this film is that we meet a set of characters, then we meet another set of characters, and we find out that one of the characters in each group is actually related to each other, or they'll be friends with each other, or they might be married or something like that. And it's quite clever the way this film manages to interlock all these different characters so that we can see them as a set and also as individuals. I must also say one of the more interesting characters in this film was played by Geraldine Chaplin, and she plays a BBC news reporter, and she's basically walking around annoying everyone, wanting to interview people and always interrupting scenes. And her character was quite funny, if a little bit annoying at times, but just made for a bit of a more interesting character than the other people in this film. So overall, I have to say Nashville is an entertaining film, but at the same time it is quite convoluted and a bit overlong. So it's not necessarily a film that I can probably recommend to everyone. And bear in mind, it is 2 hours 40 minutes long, which is a long film. And yeah, some of the scenes probably don't seem necessary in this film, but I think what Robert Altman was going for in this film was a documentary style of filming. We see things happening, but at the same time he doesn't want to focus too much on one particular set of characters. He wants to give everybody a chance to have their time on screen, and for us as the audience to make our minds up about what we want to pay attention to on screen and what characters we want to care about. Because some of the characters in this film, they start off as being not particularly likeable, but then eventually we might start to like them more, and well, vice versa really. You can make your own mind up from watching this film about what you think of the characters and whether you do care about them, and also make your mind up about whether you like the film or not, or whether you think it's nonsense. Regardless, Nashville is an interesting film. It's certainly one of those films that I will probably remember. However, it's probably not one of those films I'm going to rush back into watching anytime soon because of its length and because of its, well, it's a slightly different film to ones I'm used to watching. But nevertheless, I'm going to give Nashville a rating of 8 out of 10 because of its uniqueness, because of its world building, just the ambitiousness of this film, which Robert Altman was going for, I do appreciate. And yes, it does have some excellent songs in it as well. So there we go. So that is my review of Nashville. So what do you guys think? Have you seen Nashville? Do you like it? Do you dislike it? Please let me know down in the comments section what your thoughts are. Anyway, thank you all very much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.